You asked me, and you didn't. You asked me who is the great American guitar manufacturing company. Hands? Okay, now most of you would say Martin, and you might be right, and I might be wrong. Some of you might say Gibson, and that's just as good. Or some of you might say Taylor, which is just a newie, right? About 10, 15 years. And some of you might say Guild. How many of you said Guild? Could you mind moving out of the way? I'm looking at someone over there. Oh, hi, Martha. What are you doing here? Holy! Oh, sorry. I haven't seen. Okay. Very quickly, back in the 1950s, Albert Drunge, whose son owns DR Strings, by the way, like you care, started a company called Guild with a lot of the guys who were left over from Gretsch. Right. When they closed down the New York factory. No, Epiphone. What's Gretsch? When they closed down Epiphone. See, thank you for pointing that out. Now, in the 70s, a lot of guitars started coming from Japan, and a lot of people started getting nervous. Gibson created Epiphone. They bought Epiphone. Remember the thing we just talked about? Okay, Gibson, owning Epiphone, used the name Epiphone on their Japanese guitars and eventually Korean, Indonesian, I don't know where else, right? Makuto Beach. Martin created Sigma, and they also bought Levin in Sweden, and they own the name Goya, and I'm not going into that one. You can come back to Tuvia's Trading Company, my site, Tuvia's Trading Company. That's where I show all the guitars. And we can talk about Goya. I'm going to be selling a Goya, God forbid, but it's not a Jewish guitar, because it's a Goya. Sorry. Now, when they were doing the competition, Guild decided that they would make guitars in Japan. And I've read this numerous times, so even though I'm not completely sure it's true, it says it so many times, and I only say maybe once, they're going to win. The wood for this, supposedly, and the parts came from the United States. They were shipped over to Japan. They were made in Japan, eventually in other places, but mostly in Japan. And it was Guild's competition. They were called Madeira. Have some Madeira, Madeira. And they're wonderful guitars. I host the, if you ever want to drop in, I host the Guild discussion board at the Acoustic Guitar Forum, and I'm very big on Guilds, and having this was a great thing. So once again, the fact that this is up for sale is an indication of how many co-pays I have, and the fact that I have to raise money. See, it isn't only a matter of how low the co-pay is. To a great degree, it's a matter of how many of them you have. So this is a, what is it? It's a guitar. It's a Madeira A-9. I believe it's a solid top. Now, please forgive me for that, but I can see the grain all the way through, so I'm going to say it's a solid top. I'm going to say it. It's a solid top. I mean, if it's a laminate, it's extraordinarily thin for a laminate. I believe it's rosewood back and sides, probably. Oh, I left the tuner on. I'm talking in D. Shut that off. It's a beautiful guitar, and I'm going to shut up because if you buy it without hearing it, you're out of your mind. I mean, you might be out of your mind anyway. How do I know? You hear the bass on that? Let me do that again so you hear it. Ah, gorgeous. Now I will strum. Strom und Dang! I put Martin Phosphor Bronze 12s on this. If you buy it, and I'm sure you will, If you buy it, I'll throw in another set of Martin strings and this cute little pic that I made that shows, got a cat sleeping on a guitar because I like cats. We have cats. I like guitars, so I have, although they get very upset when I talk about the strings because they heard of the cat gut thing and they just flip out about that. All right, so listen, thank you for joining me here in the beautiful guitar room in beautiful Brooklyn. Thank you so much, and, well, shalom, right? Goodbye.